to Phetla. I'm from Alex, and I grew up there, and I think for everybody, I think most of us grew up in the hood, yes? And as you know, I think it's quite unique to grow up in the hood. And I'd like to say that, my journey at this point, I'd like to see it as being saved. Because I think we all know, as a child, or as a girl child, coming from the hood, what's the proverbial end game for you is that you go to school, you fall pregnant, and you look after more and more and more kids. And ballet found me. I had a choice between karate and ballet, and I chose ballet, and I've never looked back since then. I was a tomboy, but I think this is where my God sent, and my mentor, teacher, and my second father figure came into the picture. I was discovered by a man called Martin Schomburg, a Jewish man, with a very long nose. So I thought it's quite interesting to start out ballet, and yeah, ballet was my story, and it's still my story to this day. I then went to the National School of the Arts to pursue. And I went to National School of the Arts, ex-goers. Are you still ex-goers, or do you go there still? I'm from the National School of the Arts. This is a place where I pursued more of my studying. My mentor, Martin Schomburg, felt that it's a great place to go to get to extend my education in dancing and academics. And then Ballet Theatre African was formed. Ballet Theatre African was created and founded by Martin Schomburg, and I was one of his top dancers. Now, my story is that I started ballet when I was 9 years old. And I keep saying that ballet was my story, ballet was my creator, ballet was my maker, ballet was my creation, and ballet is my story. And in Ballet Theatre African, this is what I could say in terms of creating what I wanted to create. And I think in all these elements, this is where creativity was born. This is quite interesting, having in the middle somewhat elevated. Choreography, contemporary dancing, and country hopping. Now, not forgetting ballet. Ballet is the most profound quality that makes who Phetla is today. Choreography is a language. This is how I create in the most free way that I can. It's a language that's not really understood by many, but it's a language that I understand. I think, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that, oh my word, you must live the dream. Because I think life as we know it, we try every day to live and uphold our dreams. I'm going to tell you today that do not be fooled or be misled by passion. Please do not penalize me for saying that. Because I always say that, passion versus education. Because it's very easy to be passionate about something that you're creative about, but at the same time you can be creative and not have any education of your craft. Because I think if you have the know-how, the education, then you can master your craft. And this is how I pursue choreography, and this is how I see choreography, and this is how choreography makes an understanding in my life. I'm not passionate about a lot of things, but I prefer to be educated about a lot of things, including my art. The reason why I don't want to say against passion, but I think why I don't use the word passion loosely is that I was very passionate about radio. I worked for Radio 2000, and I didn't have the know-how. All I wanted to do was to be on radio. Back in the days where there were stories on radio, I just want to be part of radio, But I didn't know how it's done. So I had to install the kind of discipline that I earned through classical ballet. I had to go back to basics. I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to go back to the beginning. Go back to school, learn, the technology side of radio. Go back to Alex FM. This is where I started my career in radio. And that for me was the beginning of the education of radio craft. Contemporary dancing is something that is quite profound. I think it's a different kind of language. I like to describe it as freedom of expression. And I think one of the points at the bottom says country hopping. I think traveling is very interesting. I love traveling, but it's the very traveling that made me realize that I'm very passionate about South Africa. I'm passionate about being a black woman. I'm passionate about being proudly South African. And if you're not passionate about South Africa, you better start now. Because from traveling, I've realized this is the best place very beautiful country, and I appreciate traveling to this day. It's had its challenges, but it's something that I think everybody needs to do in order to appreciate where you come from. And this is where creativity lies, South Africa. Well, these are some of the countries that I've traveled to. These are some of the competitions that I've done overseas and locally as well. I've done the GKT competition, which was in Australia. I've gone to Helsinki, I've gone to Switzerland, and I've also done some stuff locally as well. Just an expression of where I've been to and traveled to as well in terms of what I do as for a living. Now these are the platforms that I used to further my creativity, to further the language of dance, to further the language of music. Dance Umbrella was one of the places that I started. This is the place that I was exposed to what creativity is all about. This was a place where it was just filled with different languages of dance, movement, and also poetry as well. Ballet Theatre African was a huge platform. As I said, it was one of the first companies that I worked for, the first ballet company I worked for. And I did very well in that company because I was allowed to create a lot of works for the company. And I think that's where I got in touch with my creativity a lot, because my mentor, Martin Schomburg, who always gave me the platform to be creative, this is where it all began. Youth Dance Company of Tswane. It's one of the platforms I also use to also spread the word of communication and creativity. Arts Alive was one of them as well. And there's so many other places that I've also been given the opportunity to talk about and to express the language of creativity. Camino Burana was my fourth creation, which got a lot of international recognition as well. But at the beginning it was very peaceful, but you know, sometimes you get bad influences in life, you meet bad people who actually can be a bad manifesto in your creation, in your work, in your journey. But at the end of the day, you gotta persevere, you know, because hence I say that when you're passionate about something, and then someone comes into the picture and tries to stumble that passion, then you don't know how to get up again. That's why I say rely on education, because if someone stumbles on your passion, you've only got education there. So really rely on education more than passion. Well, this is some of the pictures that I thought I could share with you to see what I do every day of my life, make my body in half. Now these three places, and this is a picture of China, South Africa, and Russia. Now I'll put South Africa in the middle because that is the core of who Kitty is. This is the core of creativity. This is the core of beautiful language. This is the core of beauty. I went to China. These three places. This is where Camino Burana, one of my creations, got a really great reception as well. And on my far right, these three places. Russia. I traveled a lot to Russia. China. Russia was beautiful. Russia. But yes, home is in the middle because that is the core of Kitty is. This is the core. Now this is quite interesting. You know, every day we are told, well I guess I'm told from time to time that you're a role model to someone, but I still feel that I haven't reached that point in my life. This very picture on my right, which is something that's very close to my heart, part of what we create on a daily basis is taking ballet to the people. And these are outreach programs that I do from time to time, and it's something that I'm very passionate about because, as you know, kids from underprivileged homes and schools don't have dancing as a tangible dream. But by me going to the schools, taking ballet to the people is something that I live every day as a life lesson. Because I feel like we're still not doing enough, but just making a change in one child's life makes me want to go back every day. This picture, I don't like the way I look, but the fact that the kids are there is something very, very profound, very touching. This is what I'm all about. Schools don't have dancing as a... Now, I wanted to delve more into the education versus passion. How many of you feel that you're very passionate about a lot of things? Raise your hand. Have you ever thought that, have you ever asked yourself that, is passion the sole bearer of your destiny? Exactly. And I think the sole bearer of your destiny is education. I keep bringing up the word education because that's the only way you can master your craft. And what I do for a living every day is about striving for perfection every day. And celebrating high performance is what I call striving for perfection every day. It's pointless to sweat bullets every day and there's no results. You're sweating these bullets and working and you're grinding. You keep coming back the next day and you just keep hitting a wall. But at the same time, I always say how to fix that is intelligently, all the time, celebrating high performance, because you can't come back and just keep sweating bullets and not going back to the drawing board and being intellectual about your craft. And that for me is the key to creativity as well. Like I said, creativity has so many different meanings to everybody. I just want to say thank you so much. This is my story in terms of creativity. But my parting words about creativity, I made a vow to myself that through creativity I shall build an empire for myself and for the children in South Africa, black children in South Africa. And make a promise to yourself that creativity is going to allow you to be your own boss. Don't wait for someone else, because yes, in the beginning, working for someone else is a stepping stone. But you've got to build your own empire through creativity.